Hey guys, super excited to see you all. Yeah, we love seeing some faces. Uh,
Hey.
yeah,
I
super
know those guys. I know you.
Hey.
A lot of
Oh, a
people
bunch of
I
new
know.
people. Hey,
a lot of friends. We've seen you all before. I know it's either super early morning for some of you it's almost bedtime, so thanks for taking the time. We'd actually love to hear where everyone's joining from in the chat. Be super cool to know. Yeah, we also did a bunch of like surveys before joining, so we know we've got like a very mixed audience, a nice set. We've got
hey.
people from film, television, advertising, e-commerce, so that's a good bunch. A lot of creators and freelancers and even art directors and a bunch of hobbyists. So super nice to have all of you together. We're going to wait for a couple of minutes, just waiting for people to join in. Whoa, love that. There's Brazil, Netherlands, San Francisco, Germany, Paris. Yeah, great
It's
to
nice.
have you all here. Um, Guys, we'd love to see more videos. I think it encourages everyone else.
Peer
Um,
pressure. Share your video. Let's see you.
yeah,
There you go.
we also
Nice.
love seeing some pets, some cats and dogs.
Awesome. Who's excited for some WAN? Some video.
Yeah, it's oh, I see a cat. That's yay. Hey, Jacob. Um, it's it's also crazy how fast the space is evolving, and it's super easy to find new topics for the webinar because every new month it's almost like everything else is obsolete. Uh, yeah, I think another few minutes. We've got Sebastian and Matt here, and thanks guys for taking out the time. Would love to, Matt, if you just want to say a few words on,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Matt, one of the co-founders of Think Diffusion. If you don't know about us, we're kind of a platform for open source. We're big fan of open source AI tools. It looks like we're not the only fans as well. So, thank you for joining. We're also huge fans of Seb here. And we thought it would be an amazing opportunity to bring the pro in for you guys and to kind of walk us around some WAN. And I'll be also doing that as well. And yeah, just gonna have some fun. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Yeah, I
What's
also
your
sorry, I just drop like the workflow files in like the JSON files in the chat for anyone who wants to, just set them up. And we're going to send a more detailed like tutorial after and the recording after the workflow, after the webinar. So yeah.
Perfect? Looks like we still got people coming in, but
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, just
We jump in?
seems like it. I think people are going to keep coming in. So yeah.
Yeah.
Fashion.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
might as well. Hi guys.
Great.
It's good to actually see so many that I'm starting to recognize. There's a bunch of you. I was gonna start by calling you out by name, but then I started looking and I started recognizing too many names. So yeah, good seeing you all. And I also saw that a lot of people are starting posting, at least someone started posting like LinkedIn links in the chat. And on that note, if you want to connect with me or Matt or Vaishna or whoever, feel free to send an invitation, and I'm sure we'll accept as long as we see it. I'm sure we will. So yeah, we're gonna look at some WAN, and then Matt's gonna take over and show some more video on. I also think WAN.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
gonna be a lot of WAN today.
Yep.
The let's just get started with that, shall we?
Do it.
So I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to dive straight into it and we're going to jump around a little bit. So we're starting here. And if you're new to Comfy, I'm sorry. I get it. Okay. So what we're doing today, or at least my part here, is we're looking at a WAN Vase workflow. And here specifically, we are restyling or using a reference image to change a video. And more specifically, we are using this video of this cat here. It's actually longer, but I'm used to using 81 frames, so about 4 or 5 seconds of this, right? What we're doing, and I have a couple of slides, and when I say a couple, I really mean a couple. They're just two, super easy. But the point is, we have an input of this cat walking on the piano. I just downloaded that from Pixels. And then I took the first frame out of this and I ran it through, an image to image workflow where you just use a control net and change it to something else, right? So here's a wolf and it's kind of frozen tundra landscape, whatever, right? We have a different cat and a different cat again. Doesn't matter what you do, right? The point is that you take the first frame of the video and you change it to something else, right? And that way you can have a lot of control on what you're doing, right? So by doing that, you can then use that frame as an input, and then you can have the wolf walking or the different cats walking like this, right? And obviously this is just a very short clip, but you get the point, right? And the cool part about this, or at least what I think is very cool, is if you've been around AI for some time, or just like months or a year, you know that video AI didn't look like this all the time, right? It was crappy, it was glitchy. Remember those old deformed videos? Every frame was different, so it just flickered all over the place. But I mean, look at these. It's amazing consistency. Now, okay, I get it. It's not like the cat is jumping around and doing crazy things. But still, I think this is just mind-blowing. And in some of these, if you look at the two cats on the right here, we have the plant that we have in the input here, but we can also change that. So for the wolf here, we don't have that, right? We have a tree in the background here instead. So you have kind of control of what you want to see, how much of the input or how much of kind of the reference image, right? And do you have to learn everything that's in here? Honestly, no, you don't. Like I kind of like getting to know everything that goes in here, right? Because I want to be able to control as much as possible over time. But essentially, what you can do is this workflow. Aishna has it somewhere and has it probably sent to you. I don't know exactly where it is.
In the chat.
In the chat. There we go. So you could essentially slap this into your Comfy, either locally or in Think Diffusion. Make sure you install your missing custom nodes. And if you don't know how to do that, you go into your manager, press here, install missing custom nodes, and then you're going to have a bunch. And then you basically install them. After that, well, you got to download a few models, but they're all linked. You got some links here, so get this model, put it there. That one's loaded here. This one you can get from the model manager. This one, I forgot to put a note in, but this one you can you just Google that name, find it, download it, and put it in your model/clip or model/text encoder. Both work. It's fine. And then you load a video, either of a cat or something else. Doesn't matter, right? And when you put that in, it's going to look something like this. So it's going to say 0, 0 all over the place, right? And these little gray numbers, what are they? Well, they're actually looking at this video and it's checking, okay, this is 25 frames per second. Okay, cool. Do we need to change that? No, we'll just leave it as is, right? What you might want to change though is this frame load cap. What does that mean? 477 watts. Well, this video has a total of 477 frames. And if you do some quick math, and 1 second is 25 frames, you can figure out that's a lot of seconds. The problem with that is if you run all of this, you are going to have a bad time Either because the memory is the GPU memory is going to go out of memory and it's going to crash, or you're just going to sit here and wait all night. So what you do is you change this. If you do like 81, for example, which is a good number because WAN is trained on 16 frames per second. And why 81? Well, you actually use 16 times 5, for example, which is 5 seconds. But then you say, wait, you're a math expert. So you say, wait, Seb, that's 80. Well, with WAN, you add 1 frame. So don't ask me why. That's just how the way it works. So now we're loading 81 frames here, which is 5 seconds if you would run at 16 frames per second, the native 1 frames per second. So now it's going to be like 3 point something if you run it 25. You can skip frames here if you want to have like the end of this. So if you think that this is too far away, you want to have the cat further up, well, you start sliding that and then you start skipping frames. Select every nth means that you select, if you set 1, well, you will use every frame here. If you select 2, well, then you will use every second frame, or every third frame, every fourth frame, whatever you set, right? So why do you want to do this? Well, maybe you want to speed this up a little bit. You can set every second frame, right? Or you can set it like even further apart, and then you can interpolate it in the back end. This is a little more complex, but you could potentially. You can also see that it looks very glitchy because you're losing a lot of frames, but you're getting further in the animation. You can see the cat is walking further, but we're losing a lot of data there. But you can play with that. So that's the basics of loading the video. Then you're going to load your image, your reference image. So you might ask, hey, Seb, do I need to do what you did and recreate this first frame? Yes and no. You don't have to, but it's going to look better, right? You can put something else in, see what happens. And then when you notice that, oh, maybe, I'm not getting exactly what I want, go back and fix that first frame, right? If someone you're like, hey, but I don't know how to do that first frame. I skipped my ControlNet lessons in school. Well, I would say 2 things. 1, go learn ControlNet. It's amazing. But if you don't want to do that, 2, you can just ChatGPT it. It works too. You're not going to have all the control, but it works. So we covered the video, we covered the image, we covered kind of installing these very quickly. What happens? Well, you can also notice that there's not a lot of strings going on here. Well, that's because of the mighty KeyGI and his set and get nodes. So what actually happens here, that from this output, we set a variable called input video, and then you can get that by having a get node, set node, get node. And then you could load an input video, for example. And that's what happens, input video over here. So get input video, and then it sends over there. Why do you do this? Well, 1, it looks kind of clean, but 2, it's a good way to have like different groups you can just enable and disable and get them working simultaneously. It's good. It's convenient. So that video gets sent in, it gets resized a little bit. If you want to change the size, if it's running too slow for you, you can lower the sizes here. As long as you keep proportion to true here, the aspect ratio is going to be the same, right? So this is a vertical one. You can do a horizontal, whatever, right? The aspect ratio, the proportion is going to be the same. We're using a depth model for this. This is what it looks like when you're using a depth model. Do you have to use a depth model? No, you can use like a canny or an open pose or whatever. Open pose is probably going to be bad for the cat because open pose sees a human pose. But you could load something else in here. So you would then send the image data into a canny, for example, and then send that further on to the WAN encodes. There's a lot of extra stuff here. I would say this is important. So this is actually doing the generation for you. Everything else back here, except for this little baby, is just doing this. So it's just collecting these into one. And that is something that KeyJai put together, actually. So if you don't need that, you could potentially take away all this. All right, so you loaded everything. Do you need to do anything more? Well, I would recommend that you change the prompt. Now I have Wolf walking on piano in a frozen world of snow. Does it work without a prompt? Ish. It will try to reference this image, right? But if you have a prompt that kind of correlates with this, it's going to look better in the end. Potentially, you could use like Florence and caption this image that would automate your prompt. It's a cool way of doing it. So this depth image data gets sent into the WAN, the Vase encoder here. And this, think of Vase as a control net for video. So you actually have, similar to control nets, you have a strength. I would say you set that from 0 to 1, like 0 to 100%. It actually goes higher, but then you kind of just break it. You have a start percent and an end percent. What does that mean? Well, for each frame, you can decide how many of the steps of that frame this control net, the Vase control net, is going to be enabled. So let's say you set this to 0.5, for example. And if you remember your control net lessons, you would run this depth for half of the 20 steps per each frame. So you would have 10 steps where you're generating with the depth, and then it would just disable, and then it would the AI mode would be, you know, take over and be creative. So why are you doing this? Well, if this is too strict for you, if this just turns into a cat, then you can't do anything else. If you can't do like a lizard or a T-Rex or whatever, well, then you have to lower the values here. So this is how you control the strength of this. And vice versa, if this is not coming through enough, if this, you know, doesn't turn into whatever you want walking on a piano, well, then you have to increase this. This little note here, T-cache, basically is a fancy way of caching, so it works faster. And that is something that most people use nowadays. Theoretically or technically, it will degrade the quality a little bit, but the speed gains are worth it. If you know your way around the sampler, this is how many steps per frame. So we're still doing a lot of frames, a lot of images together, the strings into a video. Most of the time, I would just leave this default. The one that you might want to change is this one, the seed. Currently set to fixed. So if you keep generating and not change anything, well, you're just getting the same result, this over and over and over and over again. Why did I set it to that? Well, if I want to test the settings, so maybe I want to lower the strength here a little bit, then I know that, okay, the strength is what made the change and not when I had a random new seed, right? But if you're not changing anything else, but you just want a new generation, well, you need a new seed. Just like do that or keep randomize for all of them, right? Then it decodes. If you've seen my Comfy tutorial for beginners, you know that the decode is when you send the data from the latent space into our RGB universe where we can see it. If you did miss my 40-minute banger Conf UI beginners video, go check that out. There's a lot of cool stuff there. And well, then we have our cool little wolf here walking on a piano. So that's a very long way of saying, download this, put the models in, put a video in, put a reference image in, put a prompt in, click generate. And then you're a master of WAN Vase. WAN is the video model. You can do a lot with it. You can do text to video, image to video, video to video. Vase is sort of like a control net that you add on top. And I would say this will get you very far when it comes to WAN and Vase. Any questions so far? I should probably have the chat up.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
I'll have a quick look. I'll have a quick look, and I think, Matt, you can prepare in the background.
Yeah. Good to go whenever you're done.
Mauricio asks, will it work for just vid to vid, a specific part of the video? Like, for example, keep the original piano and just change the cat for dog. Yes, I've seen that work, and I saw also that Matt mentioned, or you replied to that. But yeah, it does work. And someone asks, yeah, it seems you've been answering all the questions. But if you haven't been reading the chat, I can pick some up here. And someone asked, is WAN better than Hanyan? I would say probably yes, or most likely yes. Hanyan has been out longer, so there are cool workflows. But WAN is just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you've been great at answering a lot of the questions here. Someone asked, Mohammed asked, we can control the scale of this video to another aspect ratio. Yes, you can. So you don't actually have to keep this aspect ratio either. Like you can make this into horizontal or wherever. It's going to screw up the CAD, obviously, but you can change that through the settings here. And if you just disable keep proportions, you can set this to whatever you want. I wouldn't go like too high. Like if you go to like 2000 by 2000, you're probably going to have a bad time. But as long as you're somewhere around 1,000, you're gonna be fine. Did you test this Vase model method in comparison to the fun model? I haven't done like a super deep dive, but from like early testing and the experience I have is that this just works better out of the box. Like maybe you could get better results with fun if you tweak it a little bit. I don't know. I'm very happy with Vase. I think it's very good. So I would probably explore this further. Can you please explain about Vase? So the easiest way to think about it is think of the WAN is kind of the base video AI model, and Vase is sort of like a control net layer on top. Now, for this model, Vase is baked into it, but the way that it's applied, you kind of have this Vase encoder here. It works similar to a control net. Now, if you're a machine learning expert, you might say, "Hey, Seb, it's not like a control net." Okay, I get it. But the way you think about it, if you're a layman like me, it works like a control net. Have you tried seaweed? I have not. So, we'll see if that's any good, I guess. Yeah, I think we'll probably jump over to you, Matt, instead of me rambling about questions.
Okay.
So we get some value for the time here.
Perfect. All right, let me replace your share here. All right, I'm going to my desktop now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I can't see any comments anymore because I think, you know, Zoom, but yeah, just shout out anything or Seb, feel free to answer for me. So we're going to go explore another workflow. This one's actually created by one of ours, Jacob, actually, who's on the line here, who's going to be on a Twitch live stream this Friday for Civitai. So if you want to join in on that, that'd be great too. He's going to be also talking about WAN. So super fun. He's done an amazing job here, so I'm going to butcher it, and please feel free to correct me if I say anything wrong here. But an amazing, basically, start image workflow with a few bells and whistles that I'm going to take you through, and that I think Aishna is going to be dropping on chat for you guys to play with as well. So taking a little bit of a tour. So this is start, end, and so what it's going to do is basically interpolate your video. You define the beginning and the end, and then let WAN essentially, be creative and fill it in for you with the prompt. So you'll see here, we have generated a couple images, and so you can see them big here. Really cool character that we use trained a LoRa from for consistency. And you'll see the basic controls. You may not have to change anything here. I'm just going to kind of go through the basics. But you got your width and height, and of course your start and end frame. Here we have our prompt. And we just have a very simple one here: a young woman barista in a cafe, playfully lifting up a coffee cup. We have our seed here, set to randomize. I'm not touching anything for the clip vision. Your number of frames, which is the same control that Seb had mentioned before. This one's a multiple of 4 plus 1. I think it's multiples of 16 plus 1 also work, but 77 is totally fine as well. It's about 5 seconds. We're not going to touch the sampler, although the steps CFG, that works similarly to what you guys might be familiar with Stable Diffusion, adherence to the prompt, and the number of steps it uses to generate. And essentially here, what you're seeing is our finished product. And I'll just kind of compare where we were at. So we started here, as you can see, where she's just has her arms low. And you'll see that for the basically duration of the 5 seconds, she's lifting up the cup, like we had mentioned in that prompt. And she ends on a frame that's very similar to that, if not identical. So WAN is really great at kind of imagining what happens between the two, but it tries to kind of get at your destination. It may not have that last frame exactly identical. And that might be okay for you guys. But let's say that you guys wanted to use a technique where you stacked, a start and an end, and you wanted to use that end to start a new segment. Well, this workflow actually can help you do that. And I'll take you through that as well. Pretty cool way that Jacob set this up. So what you'll have here is actually the last frame here of this video. And I had mentioned before that, as WAN is basically interpolating between the start and end frame, it tries to get to your end video, the one that we generated here and uploaded, but it might not be exactly the same. That's okay, right? So what we've done in this workflow is you can actually copy, right, by right-clicking, copy clip space, and you can actually then copy that back into here as the next first frame of your next segment. So that would actually ensure that it's basically seamless transitioning from clip to clip. And now how do you actually composite those together? There's a really cool little control here. So you'll see that we have a group enable and image enable, which lets you kind of extract the very last frame, right? And then you'll see this group underneath here, combine. And so what you can do here is unclick these guys and enable the multi. And you'll see here how it kind of works. And so we've generated 5 separate start to end clips. And at every point, the end of the previous one matches up with the start of the next one. So essentially, what you can do is keep on going and creating longer and longer clips that are seamless as well. I also kind of wanted to show you a fun party trick here. So I'm just going to cut to our file browser here. And I think this was one of the images that were generated. So I'm going to pull this down here. And you'll see I have a kind of blank machine. If you take an image that's generated from this workflow, or pretty much from any comfy workflow where you have saved metadata enabled, you can drag this on here and it will basically repopulate. It'll open the workflow identically to what you had before, which is really handy. So it's essentially like a JSON file, but it's an image too. So you can share the image, you can store it, and you can save it and you can share it. So if you want to pass it on to someone along with your team, you can do that as well. And so it's really handy. You see that, I'll do that again. So we're not going to save this. We have a blank screen. We just drag that over. And there's your workflow that we have from the previous step as well. So there you have it. I can't see if there are any questions, so let me know if there are any, or Sab, Jacob, feel free to answer for me.
You have a question right now. Someone asks, can you share details, is that of your rig, since you seem to run one on a Mac? And
oh yeah, this is on Think2Fusion. So we're running on the cloud. I have a very slow Generation 1 Mac Mini, M1, I think. So it's not going to be able to do this. So basically, this is all in the browser. We're all in Think2Fusion here. So yeah, feel free to visit our site. You can log on, start a machine. It's actually very easy to generate with multiple machines, for example. So I have 2 right now, as you can see, loaded. So I got machine 1 and machine 2. But if you want to launch another one, very easily go there and launch another one. There you go. So yeah, I would hit launch and boom. But yeah, great question. You totally can run everything that we're showing here locally. I definitely don't have the equipment to do it, or the VRAM, but if you do, awesome. And if you don't, feel free to use Think2Fusion. I also wanted to mention as well, if you guys really like the in-depth content, Seb and I, and also our colleague Khan, will also be putting on a extended course. It's going to be a 10-week course geared towards professionals. There actually is a early bird discount right now, $500 off. But we're going to be taking you through basically a whole range of topics, starting from kind of fundamentals, legal, character development, images, video, even audio. And we're also going to be taking you through not only open source, but closed source tools as well, because basically it's a holistic approach. And there are a lot of different solutions out there that are amazing. So for example, I think we have, Ishna, correct me if I'm wrong, a 3-month kind of free mini Macs, and I think we're going for like Kling and also other offerings as well.
Yeah, we're partnering with them. That's correct.
Right. So really great perks that come with this. Your instructors will be Seb and I, and also Khan, who's an amazing teacher. He probably has taught more people in person than Seb and I combined. So he's amazing, Seb and I. And we also have some great guest speakers. So we got Maddie from Civitai, who's sort of the executive producer. We have Yeet, who's actually one of the lead creatives for the newly launched Wonder Studios. David Lynch, who's an amazing videographer and music video producer. James Gertie, whose work you have no doubtly seen probably all over socials with the dancing noodles and shoelaces and the ballet, water lilies. We got Jiri, who's a creative director at Runway. And we also have Tyler, who's also an amazing director. He's done work for like Grimes. So an amazing lineup of guest speakers as well. And yeah, so just wanted to let you guys know that if you do enjoy the in-depth content, we'll be doing that for 10 weeks straight. And that's going to be starting, I think, in June
19th? Yeah.
Yeah. So about 2 months from now. So we got time. All right. Awesome. Any
Okay.
other questions?
Yeah, Matt, there are a couple of questions if you just want to look them up. I also dropped the link to the Maven course in the chat, guys, if you want to check that out.
Okay. There's a question on, is there a way more or less to calculate how much VRAM is needed for a particular length video? When you're talking about WAN is very resource intensive. You want to go for at least the 48 gig VRAM. You could probably run it at lower resolutions, 480 or below for less than 5 seconds at less RAM, but you might have a bad time. But if you're talking about imagery, for sure you can use, and we can recommend much less, 24 gigs or less. So yeah. What's the max resolution? I think 720. There's a 720 model, 14 billion parameter. Let's see.
You had a question from Mauricio who wonders if you can upload models without starting a machine. Maybe you can show him that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is an awesome question. Let me share my screen again.
Essentially, he said he doesn't want to pay just for installing models, and that makes sense.
Amazing. Yeah. Most people, I don't think, want to. So what you can do is if you're on a subscriber plan, like the Pro TD Pro, you'll have this, what we call a My Files 24/7 feature. And so you can basically not be running a machine here, and you can go in and organize, upload, download, zip, delete anything you want very easily. But there is no machine running. So I do have 2 machines running, but you don't need them running because they're not attached to them. So essentially you can go to your, LoRa's folder, and essentially it's very easy. You can drag and drop, or for example, just drop your URL to like Civitai or Hugging Face, right click, get that path, and just paste it in here. And so you can manage all your files and be essentially not running anything. So great question. Is it possible to add a lip sync node? Yeah, I don't see why not. We could probably use latent sync, for example. You could probably also attach MM audio if you wanted to do sound effects at the same time. So that's the beauty of open source, is that everyone kind of has a different idea, has a different goal, and you can do that. I think
we did cover a lot of the
question?
questions either by chat or by talking. We might obviously have missed someone. So if you feel that we left yours out, it was not because we don't like you. We just didn't see it. So you can send it again.
Yep.
Or email me or Matt.
Yep. How do
Piotr
we predict?
asks, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, you go for it.
Yeah. So how do you, it went away. No. Yeah, okay. So how do you predict how long it will take for open source models to catch up with models like Sora or Kling? So that is a good question, but the answer is not an easy one, because what you see from Kling or Sora or Minimax or whatever, right? That is kind of a pre-packaged thing. You're prompting for something, you're clicking a button, and you're getting amazing stuff out. But that comes with limited control, right? What you can do with these open source models and WAN specifically is you can achieve very similar results in terms of quality. It's just harder to get there and requires most of the time a lot of resources. Like when you're asking Kling to generate something for you, while they're using like massive GPUs to do it very quickly, and they have a streamlined workflow for that. If you build something like we did here with one Vase and like use a reference image, you can get really good results, but you can also go in a different direction and, you know, get something else entirely. What they've done is they take one thing and they kind of streamline from that and try to do that as good as possible. So I wouldn't say that the open source models need to catch up per se. Maybe a few months back, but what we've been seeing with WAN and some of the new models that are being released, it's not neck to neck per se, but they're starting to get very close. They're just kind of going a little bit in different directions before they're converging, you know? I don't know if that helps answer your question, but got a little rant on it at least.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Matt, Sebastian. This was super awesome. If any of you have any thoughts, we'd love to hear that. If you guys want to say something or just drop something in the chat. But thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up on video. That's super awesome. I just want to take a little bit of a feedback so that we can plan better sessions next time. I also like dropped the link to the Maven course in the chat. If you guys have any questions, you can send them to me. But
oh man, I can't click 5. Too bad.
But this is super exciting. We'd absolutely love to hear your thoughts, or if you want us to do better sessions or a different session next time, we'd love to hear that in chat. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks everyone for your time. It was fun.
Thanks all. Have a great evening, a great day, a great morning, wherever you are.
All right.
Yes. Super awesome. See you guys again soon.
Still got people entering the waiting room.
Yeah, there's someone who just entered the waiting room. I feel so bad for them.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
All right, guys. Yeah, bye. We've got a few more people answering the poll, so I'm going to stick around for a bit. Yeah.
I'll keep you company. How do you staying around?
Hey, okay, wait, let me unmute you. Sorry.
You unmute. There you unmuted him.
Yeah.
Hey.
Why would you say we don't do?
Sorry? No. It's a joke. I told to Arsh I will work on Sync Diffusion tomorrow. So I lock my day for you. So tomorrow it's my day on Sync Diffusion. So I will work for you and maybe ask some question. And I would like make a video for the social media. So I will speak about your platform.
Amazing.
So see you
Any
tomorrow.
questions? Let us know.
Okay.
See
Good
you.
day. Bye.
Bye.